just go.
Hello, good evening. Lovely to see you. It's lovely to have you here. Ray and Sue I haven't seen for 50-something years until very recently. We were at Frobel together. It was wonderful. As I say, we danced Laban, body parts leading. Barefoot and leotards was the last time I saw you, darling. It was wonderful to have you here. So I'm going to explain a little bit because you won't have seen this before. Well, nobody would have seen this before. But we have 3 chairs, 3 performers, and we're going to try and do for the first time a 50-minute play. And we're relying on being in the moment. And I'm going to start by just moving chairs. I'm just going to put them. Where do you want me to put the next one? No, this chair. Where would I put it? Back a bit. There. This one here. This way. Facing this way. This way.
Facing the window.
Towards the window.
Controversial.
Right. Thank you very much. I'm not going to ask you to come again. We're going to walk into this space. We're going to come in one at a time. First person will sit in one of the chairs or not. They might stand in a space. But what they're looking at in this space is what the relationships might be between these chairs. What are the chairs telling us? The relationship between the person in this chair and the person in that chair. So we'll come into position, and it will be a held position, a frozen position, and then the lights will go down and the lights will come up again and we'll be in exactly the same position. And it's like we've put a play on pause. We've put this play on pause. We don't know what the play is. We don't know who we're playing. We're going to be asking the audience to pay for this. but that's the situation. So we're going to discover it moment by moment by moment. So we don't have a plot in our head. We'll only know the story after it's over. So that's the format. So no safety nets. That's it, I think. Isn't it any? That's it, I think. Lovely. It's just great to have you here.
Can you switch on?
It's on, I think.
It's on.
Is it on?
Yeah.
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 I don't know why she went off in a huff.
You don't know?
I didn't know. Something you said, something I said, something you said, something I said. Okay.
I think.
She seemed very temperamental tonight.
Well, she is. She's
Well,
temperamental. That's why you have to be a little bit careful with her.
I think she's more temperamental with you, I have to say. I mean,
Well,
you live together.
Well, I
That's what
think
happens,
it
isn't
was-
it?
it was what-
Husbands and wives,
Yeah,
they get
it's what-
irritated with one another.
it's what you said that made her go tonight.
Okay.
Nothing I said.
You think she's gone?
Well, she's gone home, hasn't she?
No.
And I'll have to deal with that when I get home.
I think she's just gone out to cool off. Why don't you follow her?
I don't like to to follow her in these situations. She needs to cool off.
Space. That feels very
Space.
male to me. To walk off, confront the issue, sulk, not go after them.
You think it's male?
It feels very male. I mean, if you got upset and went out, I wouldn't even think twice about not going out. I mean, to see you.
So you're saying it's okay for blokes,
Well, they do, don't they?
To
They,
get
go,
in the
they
mood.
get into their little angry box.
but not for a woman to get.
Women don't have boxes. Women are wired differently, aren't they? I mean, they're wired. We have boxes. We go into our angry box.
This is exactly
When we're
the
on our
sort-
angry box, leave us alone.
and you'll wonder why she's gone.
I do wonder why she's gone. It doesn't seem.
After what you've just said,
Well, I'm saying this to you. I'm not expressing this to her. I'm just explaining women to you.
you were explaining women to her too. That's why she's gone.
What did I say about women?
Well,
It's
pretty
so
much what you.
offensive. Hmm? They're impossible.
I'm going to have to deal with this when I get home
Well,
because she associates what you've said with me. She'll say it's your mate that's come out with that, and I didn't defend her. Well, I didn't have a chance, did I? Because she's gone.
I didn't hear any of that. She's gonna come back. I need her here tonight. I called you round here. Have supper. How was the supper, by the way?
It was delicious.
Good. So it's not the supper that's upset her.
What do you mean a tummy upset? I don't
No,
think.
no, my
I
cooking.
don't think
my
it's a
cooking.
tummy
She's
upset.
happy with my cooking.
I th-
You know how I feel about my cooking.
well, you're a little touchy about it.
Well,
It was delicious. It was. I don't think I could have got her around here if it hadn't been for the promise of your cooking. But then what happens? You go and spoil it. I don't think I'm going to get her round again, even for your cooking.
will she have her phone on her?
What do you
Just
say?
say, come back. Say, I don't know. I'll phone her. I'll apologise. Except I don't know what I'm apologising for.
Well, maybe you should talk to her
Specifically.
then and find out.
Specifically, was it because I said she'd make a better secretary because she was a woman?
That was one of the things. That was probably the first one. I'm surprised she didn't go on that one. But she stuck it out for a little bit longer.
Well, I need a secretary. I haven't even come out with my whole plan. I haven't even told you my whole plan.
Well, no, I was hoping we would all be around to see that.
Well, I was casting her as secretary.
Well, you were
I mean,
cast.
you're not a secretary, are you? I mean, look at you.
What does a secretary look like?
Well, not well. I can only say that a secretary doesn't look like you. I mean, you're not secretarial. You don't look like a
Are
secretary.
you still thinking of secretaries as female? Is that it?
Maybe. But better.
Better
We're better at being that.
being
I
what?
don't know, typing, you know,
Looking nice while they're doing
organising
it.
things.
Yes.
They make great coffee. They attend, don't they? They attend to one.
I think that's what put her off. You were trying to cast her in exactly that role. I'm surprised you even thought that she would even consider it.
I think if she heard my entire plan,
Now, what is your entire plan?
well, I don't want to talk about it with her. I thought we could form this thing together as a team. See, she's a team member. I see her as a team member.
But knowing her place.
No, her role. Her role in the team.
Place in the team.
Well, yeah, we have our places, don't we? I mean, I'm sitting here, you're sitting there, we're sitting in our places.
What?
But that's not her place, is it? It's turning a chair around like that.
What would my role be?
I need the three of us to be here. I'll have to do it another evening. But it was, you know, I mean, everything was going so well. It was going swimmingly.
Shall I try and get her back?
Yes. Yes. I mean, she doesn't even know what I was talking about being a secretary for. She give me a chance. I think it's when I said, could you make us a cup of coffee, see how you do with that. That's the moment she left, if I remember.
Are you going to say that to her when I bring her back?
No. I'm not expecting her to come in. I tell you, the thing for me to do is I'll go and make a cup of coffee. So when she comes back, if you do your charm, you do. You know what to do, don't you? And this isn't your fault. I'll make a lovely cup of coffee. Yeah. I'll go and do that.
Hello, Hazel. Hello, we were just wondering. Well, yeah, I know. I know he does talk like that, but he doesn't really mean it. Look, he's got some big plans that I think will be quite good for us. Well, if you just come, if you want, would you come back and just, he's making some coffee. Yeah, I know. Well, if he says anything like that again, I will tell him. I didn't have a chance that time, did I? Because you just gone. We could have. Please, look, just please come back. Sorry, that was the coffee. Sorry. What was that? Yeah. Sorry, say that again. Okay, if you would, that would be great. Yeah, as I said, I won't let him. I think it's worth finding out what he's got in his mind, because it could be quite lucrative, and you know the financial position we're in. Okay, yeah, okay, right. Okay, right, we'll see you in a minute. Okay. She's going to come back.
Well done.
Well, just be careful what you say, all right?
Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong.
Hello, Hazel.
Bob.
Hello, darling.
Hello, sweetie.
All right, you okay? You're all right.
I'm very sorry. Hazel,
Just turn, yeah.
No. What's this?
well,
Is that where you want me to sit,
no,
Bob?
no, I should have turned it back round again.
No, thank you. Thank you so much.
I don't know if you. I mean, you were having a bit of a hissy fit.
I beg your pardon?
I had upset you, and I do apologise. But you turned round, and that was the first thing, and then I said the thing about the coffee, and please, I've made you a cup of coffee.
Thank you.
Is that where you went from what he said?
It's just all of it, isn't it? All of it.
I've put a That's how it's done. Coffee with a little, at this time of night, isn't it? Coffee with a
Bob,
little.
I know how to make coffee.
I know you do.
I know how to make coffee.
I know
And
you
what
do.
have you put in it? I'm supposed to be driving. What have you put in it?
I'll drive.
Not after the amount you've drunk.
I won't have my coffee.
I'll just have this. This is
And
fine, thank you.
I'll drive you
It's
both
only-
home.
Thank you.
He hasn't put much in. Are we going to talk?
Yes. I asked you round tonight, I mean, because it's lovely to see you. It's always lovely having you here, Hazel.
Bob, why don't you just tell us what your plan is?
I just thought we could, I don't know how you're set financially.
We're fine.
Are you good?
Well, perhaps not good, but we're fine.
Good.
Thank you.
That's good. Because I'd like that. I'd like to make that better for you. I have a plan. No investments. I'm not asking for an investment. But I've looked into it. I've really looked into it. I've done all the research and I've costed it. And I have the money to pay for it all and set it up. I bought a property downtown, and I couldn't think of anybody better to work with than you two.
Do you want to tell us what it is?
Okay, I want you to bear with me. I'm gonna come straight out with it. I'll come straight out with it, and I don't want you to laugh, right? Because I have done all the research necessary, right? We'll have to have a little bit of training. I mean, I don't think you need any training.
What, in my role as secretary?
I think when you know what what it is that I'm
Can you just
suggesting, you'll think, wow, that's a responsibility to
All
keep
these
this thing
years.
going.
All these
It would
years, I
depend.
never knew I wanted to be a secretary. All these
The
years.
whole thing will depend on you, Hazel.
Bob, why don't you tell us what it is?
A detective agency.
Oh, I quite like the sound of that, actually.
There we go. You see, I knew you were a romantic. I knew Hazel was a romantic.
I really like the sound of that.
Yes.
I thought you were
There
going to
is
talk about...
one, I mean, look in the book to see where the nearest detective agency is to here.
Well, just tell us, where is it?
50 miles away. I mean, it's not a thing anymore.
What do you mean it's not a thing anymore?
Well, I mean, you don't really, people don't, do they? I mean, I know they do, yes. People always looking for.
So what's the point of setting one up, Bob, if people don't need them?
No, well, I mean, they don't think, they don't know they need one because there isn't one here, so they don't. But once there's one here, people think, oh, God, I need that.
Detective agency.
I've spoken to a detective who opened up a little agency in the Faroe Isles.
That's useful.
Well, you wouldn't think, would you?
No, you
He's
definitely
doing
wouldn't.
booming trade in the Faroe Isles.
There you go. If
Don't
you
know
can
what
make
they're up
that
to.
work.
So much, I thought, I don't know what they're up to in the Faroe Isles.
What kind of cases, Bob, did he say he was covering? What kind of cases can we expect to cover?
Well, a bit of rustling up there. We're going to have that here, aren't we? A bit of rustling.
don't the police deal
People
with
stealing
don't the police
rocks from stone
deal
walls.
with this?
No. You know, you don't go. No, you go to a detective when maybe your partner's having an affair. Or
Not when
you
your
go to
partner's
police
stealing
and say,
rocks, Bob.
excuse me, constable, my wife is having an affair. I mean, you wouldn't do that, would you? You'd say, do you know what you'd say? We don't deal in domestic things, sir.
That would be quite exciting, wouldn't it?
But you were talking about rustling.
Yes.
There's not much role for a private
We're
detective.
talking about the Faroe
That was
Islands,
the
right?
Faroe Islands.
That's the Faroe Islands. There's
Why haven't they got
there's
police
one
there?
policeman covering I don't know how many islands up there in the Faroes.
It's slightly worrying when you mentioned rock stealing. That
Well,
wouldn't be
that
very.
wouldn't happen here, would
No.
it?
So we're talking.
And it might be your
domestic
neighbour,
cases.
it might be your neighbour father, stealing rocks on your walls. You don't want to get involved with the law. You just want to. You want to
Well,
find out
even
who
here.
it is. No, the Faroe Islands.
Faroe
Can we just
Islands.
forget the bloody Faroe Islands?
You
I'm sorry I
brought up
brought
the
it. I'm
Faroe
sorry I
Islands.
brought it up.
It's not a
Can-
very good comparison, is it?
It
The
isn't.
Faroe Islands to here.
I've simply used it as an example of the possibility of once there's a detective agency, people will use it.
Can I just ask one thing
Only one thing. That's great. We're getting somewhere.
to start with?
Oh.
What experience have you had of this sort of work before?
Well, I think we've had a fair, all of us here have a fair idea of what a detective does. I mean, you've watched Columbo, haven't you? Hmm?
Slightly dodgy
What was
start,
that? What
isn't
was
it,
that
Dad?
thing? Yeah. Sorry?
It's a slightly dodgy start, that isn't it? We're not in America.
No. No. A shoestring. Was it shoestring? Some shoestring?
Oh, Trevor Reeve. Oh, I
Trevor
liked him.
Reeves, yes.
Oh, Trevor
So
Reeve.
you've got this
There's a bit of
idea
a Trevor about him, isn't there?
Well, there might have once been, but I'm not sure about now.
from watching TV series.
Bootlegs. Call him bootlegs.
Bootlace. Bootlace. Can I be a detective, please?
I think that's very much a very important role.
I'd like to be a detective.
A very part of secretarial detective.
I don't know about secretarial, thank you very much. Detective.
You would take. You'd be.
I'd be very good undercover.
People-
Very good
You would be
undercover.
very. Well, sometimes you may have to go undercover.
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be a secretary undercover, I'd be a detective undercover.
Yeah,
thank
but you don't look like a person who would go undercover. Whereas,
No.
look at him. You see,
Yes, it's too it's way too, he's way too obvious.
way too obvious.
And forgive me, Bob, but probably you too. I think I'd be the undercover person. I'd probably do all the undercover work, wouldn't I? Surely that would make sense. All of it.
Or
All of the undercover work.
people would phone you. They would talk to you, and you'd bring the cases in, and you'd do. I mean, you have the mind. You know, your mind is wired differently to ours. As I was trying to explain to Bob.
Yes.
I won't go into that again now.
When were you trying to explain that to Bob?
When you would gone for a walk.
And how did you say, Bob? And what did Bob say?
I just said, you very good at connecting things.
Oh, I'm very good.
Everything is connected. We just sit in little boxes.
Yes, you men.
We just sit in little boxes,
I
don't
don't know
we?
whether you do, but definitely, Bob, you do. Sit in little boxes, don't
I
you?
bet he has an empty box.
He has several
How
boxes.
many times have you said to him, "What are you thinking?" And he's.
I never
Nothing.
say that to him. I've never said that to
Because
him. What a ridiculous thing to say.
But
wasn't
you're
it?
always
Look at his
thinking.
face. He's not thinking anything.
It's not. But you're thinking all the time. Look at you. You're so wired.
I am.
That's what we need.
I am ready to
I think
join
we-
up the dots of this detective agency. I'm ready.
Think of another word for secretary.
Well, it's not detective. Why do you keep coming back
Well,
to
there's
me with
something
secretary?
secretary.
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 Secretary. In fact, can I just point out that my darling husband's typing skills much better than mine. Much better
Didn't
than
know
mine.
that.
He also fixes our printer,
Really?
our internet connection, our photocopier.
Mhm.
He'd make a marvellous secretary.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, you've opened my eyes,
He'd be a great secretary of a
Well.
detective agency.
and you don't seem to have quite the same passion as we do.
No, for solving crimes. They're riddles, basically, Bob, aren't they? They're riddles.
I
Riddles.
think
I keep talking. I'm going to get. What would you like? Brandy or something?
He's a secretary. He'll have a sherry.
Sherry.
You might as well
Sherry.
start getting into roll now, darling.
Sweet or sweet sherry? Would you think?
Sweet sherry.
Sweet sherry.
Definitely a sweet sherry.
And
Just I'll have another one of those coffees with that little extra thing in, please.
I was going to get you a brandy, but there we go.
No, I'm just the coffee and the brandy would be lovely. I think we have a long night of discussion ahead of us. I need some
You
caffeine.
didn't eat your biscuit.
Oh, thank you for the biscuit.
Sweet sherry.
what
Sweet
Nice
sherry and
coffee.
coffee with brandy. Thank you, darling. Lots of strong caffeine one.
Thank you.
what are you thinking?
We are in a bind, aren't we? Financially. We're
Yes, but
I thought he was going to suggest a pet shop again. Last time he suggested a bloody pet shop.
and what happened to that?
He needs a bloody new coffee machine, that's what he needs. This is a much better idea.
It's not a much better idea. It's a much worse idea.
Why?
Why?
Yes.
He hasn't got any experience. He's got no idea of what it entails. He's got his idea of what a job entails from watching TV series.
You haven't listened to him. He hasn't laid
I-
out the whole plan yet.
What?
He hasn't laid the whole plan out yet.
I think
Must
he
be
has.
more.
I
There
think
must
that's
be
as
more.
far as his plan goes.
There must be more, surely. Columbo, starting an end point? I don't think so.
You think he's got more?
Yes, surely.
But why hasn't he told us
Well,
more?
that and the fact that there's not another detective agency for miles.
Coffee with a shot.
Thank you, darling. But we're just wondering. We're just wondering if you could take us through the business plan you said you'd researched and laid out.
What's he doing
I
now?
don't know. The plan. There we are. Look, it's a business plan. I told you,
Business
darling.
plan.
Thank you.
Business plan.
Thank you.
Maybe you would like. You're going to take the minutes.
He needs a notebook and a pencil.
This
Give him a pencil
this
with a rubber on
is
it.
our first
This
meeting
is the first meeting.
as a company.
Can we have a toast? What are we going to call ourselves? Have you thought of a name, Bob? Are we going to have a toast?
I am not a secretary.
Oh!
Oh, that's so male. First assignment. Oh, I think we should sit opposite ends of the bench so that people don't think that we're together. Now, apparently, the missing poodle, I think was taken by a man who walks in the park here every day. It's
I know what a poodle looks like.
specifically, do you remember something about this poodle? Specifically, we're looking for something on this poodle. I don't want to just jump out at the first person that walks along here with a poodle.
Well, quiet.
Quite.
So, what is specific about this poodle?
The photograph.
I haven't looked at the photograph.
I think this is no good. You've got to pay attention.
Well, it just looks like a poodle.
Look at the ears. Count the ears. How many ears?
Two
It
ears.
has not got 2 ears. Look at it.
But it's got one a little bit.
Bent. Half an ear. So we're looking for a poodle with 1.5 ears, right? What are the chances of the 2 of those being in the park at the same time? You need to pay attention.
Well, what?
Oh, sorry. It's a Dachshund. I could see it was a small dog.
And what do we do when we see this
Dachshund. What do we do? I think, do we follow him? Approach him?
Him? We approach the poodle.
I'm sorry. No. I'm sorry. It could be a woman, couldn't it?
Could be a woman.
Yeah. It's more likely to be, well, I think they,
Who is most likely to steal a poodle?
a man.
I would have thought so.
There we go.
So we're looking for a man with a poodle.
He
with
may have
1.5
given it to a
ears.
woman.
What?
The poodle with the 1.5 ear poodle has been seen in this park. That's all we've got to go on.
With a woman or a man?
You didn't ask.
Well, I didn't read the briefing paper on it.
why won't you just accept that you're a secretary? I think Hazel has been very, very generous letting you out, actually.
Well, she's,
You're clearly not happy, are you?
oh, she persuaded me that we had to go along with this. You know I wasn't keen. What, how much?
This is our first case. We've been open for what, 48 hours? And we get a poodle case.
So this is the test, isn't it?
It is a bit of a test. I mean, wouldn't it be great if we solved it on our first day, our first case?
Okay. So what do we do if we find the man or the woman with the poodle? We can't arrest them.
We follow them, and then we'll know where they live.
Yes. And
I think it depends how big
The
the
poodle
man
is.
or the woman is.
is that how it works?
It works for me.
So if the man or the woman is big, we don't approach them.
I think we follow him, her, and then we know where he, her lives, and then we can think about what to do.
Tell the police.
We can consider, oh,
Or do we tell the owner of the poodle and leave it up to them what they do about their stolen poodle?
I think in their hearts of hearts, they're paying us £100.
So they want us to do
I
something
think they would
about
like
it.
to have
They would like the poodle delivered back to them for
in a
that
box,
amount of money.
a lovely box. Poodle back in a box, I think, is the result they'd be looking for.
So if the man or woman is small, we can approach them and take the poodle away from them.
Exactly.
But if they're large,
Yes. Follow them, and then we can decide what to do. Because we'll know where they live, and they'll be. That's where they live.
So
We know where we can find them most of the time.
so we'll have to find a way of stealing it back.
Taking it, retrieving lost, stolen property.
Have you got any experience in breaking into houses?
Oh, that's a new plan.
Or do we just wait for the poodle to come out of the house on its own and grab it then and return it to the owner?
You're getting very good at this. You see, those are two things that I hadn't considered.
You haven't considered them.
No, I hadn't considered them.
I thought you had a plan.
I have a
We
plan.
looked
No, no,
through
no.
your business plan.
There's a business plan. I didn't have a poodle plan. Each case is going to be unique.
Well, I think you
So
have a plan. for every-
you're thinking ahead. Now, don't tell Hazel this, but you have two ideas that I hadn't thought of. Now, that is not the mind of a secretary. That is the mind of a detective.
Vic,
I do. I've done all this research, all this reading. I hadn't thought we could steal a poodle from the house or wait for it to stroll out into the garden. I was thinking just of this moment, moment by moment.
girl. Do a big poo. Go on, do your job.
You're good with women.
Do your job.
Go and chat her up. Go and chat her up. Go and chat her up.
Go on, do your job. There's a biscuit in it. If you do your job.
Hi.
Hello. Just trying to train my poodle.
Nice dog.
Yeah, she's gorgeous, isn't she? She's lovely. She's trying to do.
Yeah,
Can you
have
see
you-
she's trying to do? No, she's not trying to do her.
Have you had it long?
Not quite. No, not long.
Not long?
No, not long.
Quite recent then.
Quite recent.
And
A few weeks.
I noticed the
Spicy.
It's
Come
only
here.
got
Come on,
half-
darling.
half one ear.
Yes. My
How
cat
did
bit
that
my
happen?
my cat bit the ear off. Spicy. Come here, darling. Come on. Biscuit for you. Biscuit. Come on.
Cat
come on.
bit the ear off.
Come on,
I don't
darling.
think it's the one.
Come on. Spicy, come here. Good, thank you very much.
She said the cat bit the ear off.
That can't be the one.
Can't be the one.
And it's not called Pikey.
Well, she's calling it something different. How would she wouldn't know the name, would she? Anyway, if it was her that stole it.
No, so she'd have had to invent a new name.
Well, of course she would. She wouldn't call it the same name as a.
You're so good at this. Of course.
But it wasn't that one anyway. Or maybe it was. Perhaps she was lying.
Of course she was lying.
Or maybe she wasn't lying.
I mean, she did say I've only had it a couple of weeks.
Yeah. What? When was the dog stolen?
A couple of weeks ago, I imagine.
Well, she wouldn't necessarily say that anyway. That's just a coincidence, isn't it? She wouldn't admit that she'd only had it 2 weeks if she stole it 2 weeks ago.
I think that was the dog.
Well, how do you know?
Well,
How will we know? How will we ever know?
You just said she would have made the name up. You're so good at this. I think we've got to come back again tomorrow.
What, see if she's here again?
See if she's here again, and then you can say, hello, you were here yesterday, and develop your relationship.
Well, she's still going to say that it's her dog, she got it 2 weeks ago, and the cat bit the ear off. How do we get round that one?
It's just not true, is it? I mean,
I don't know.
the chances, I did say it, this is me, the chances of a 1.5-year poodle in the same park.
All right, let's try it again tomorrow.
Are you going to tell her? Are you going to tell her that we've blown it?
Well, we haven't blown it yet necessarily, have we?
Hello, boys. I've got a couple of jobs that have just come through. So I've got a lady called Monica who says that she thinks her husband has found a little bit of a diversion in the shape of a Norwegian secretary, actually, oddly, that she
Norwegian?
employed. And then, you know, as fate would have it, it's all come round to slap her in the face. She's a bit of a buxom girl, apparently, this Monica. Anyway, the wife's very annoyed and she wants us to look into that. So that's another job. That's the second job, isn't it? Great.
Second job.
Yeah, we've only been going a few days.
We've made a little error.
I beg your pardon?
We've made a little error
What do you mean?
with the poodle.
What about it?
Well, I think we saw the poodle. And,
Well, that's good.
well, and I said, it was my plan, wasn't it, for you to go and distract the woman with the poodle?
Or to get, well,
And he did a very good job. But she told him that a cat had bitten the ear off.
Well,
So he thought that couldn't be the dog.
But it might not be the dog.
But
Did you look
what's
at the
the
picture?
chance? Yes, it's got 1.5 ears. And what's the chance of a 1.5-eared dog, 2 of them being in the park?
Well, very, very slim, I would
It's
say.
very
so
slim.
What did you do?
We left her, let her get away. He believed her.
What do you expect me to do? To steal the dog from her? If
Well,
it was
clearly
her?
the
Yes.
right dog, isn't it? And he just said,
Well, it might not
Did you
be.
take those schmacko things I
Look,
told you to
this is
take?
the
If you filled your
problem
bloody pockets
with all this.
schmackos,
You're
the
never
dog
gonna
would have come to you.
How are we going to decide on these There's no way of solving these problems, these so-called crimes. There's no way of solving them. We can't solve it. We need to leave it to the police.
The police are not going to rescue a 1.5-eared poodle.
Well, how
Are
can
they?
we rescue it if we don't know?
One of you distracts the woman and the other one steals the poodle.
And what happens if it turns out that it's her dog
You-
and we've stolen
you
it? The
take
police will be on to us.
You take it to the original owners very, very quickly and you show it to them and you double check, and if it's wrong, you just release it back into the park. Job done.
And,
You're
and
so
you're-
defeatist.
He's
so
getting
that,
stressed.
that woman is going to be happy with that, is she? She's going to be happy with somebody coming up to her in the park and stealing her dog from her.
Well, if it's a stolen dog, she's not going to make any fuss about it,
Yes,
is she? You're assuming that the dog is hers.
Yes, it's possible. It's hers.
So we just need to check that.
Okay,
This is
how
a
do we
very
check it?
strong
How do we
lead.
check it?
This is a very strong. More bloody coffee.
yes, sit down.
How you're
Sit down. Come on, you're getting all flustered. Have a coffee. There's nothing in it. Just have a coffee. Go on, sit
We
down.
need to pursue our leads. The only lead we have at the moment is that you have found a 1.5-eared dog in the park.
I think you're finding this too stressful.
I did suggest that he should stay in the office, didn't I?
But he did have some very good thoughts. He said
Really?
we could follow the person to the house. Actually, I think that was my idea, because then we'd know where they lived. And then he said, yeah, and then maybe we could go and steal the dog back.
It's still
Or then
got
he
the
said
same
maybe wait until
problem.
the poodle came out into the garden. Well, two very good detective-like
So-
ideas.
So you have these ideas, but you're not prepared to see them through. When I suggest them, you just poo-poo them.
I think
We should have just done what we planned.
I think you should go out with him tomorrow and look for a 1.5-eared dog and see
Okay.
how you deal with it.
All right. I'm going to have pockets full of schmackos. That dog will go wild for them. All dogs, no dog can resist a schmacko. You have to distract the woman. Perhaps you could fall down in front of her or something.
I could do something like that.
Trip her up, something like that, I don't know.
Fair.
And then I will have a collapsible dog crate
Yes.
with me. I will capture the dog.
This is
I will
I think we have a problem here. I think we have two detectives and a potential.
Yes, full of potential. I've often said that to you, darling, haven't I? Full
So
of
who
potential.
is
Often
this?
not realised.
Who is this Swedish secretary?
It's another job. I've got two
No,
other
no, no, no,
jobs.
no. Secretary.
Norwegian.
Norwegian secretary.
Secretary.
Now what's he done? Did you say it was a he?
She's a she. No, she's a she.
Oh well.
She's having.
See, it's exactly a woman secretary. Perfect.
She's making the beast with two backs with our client's wife.
Is she?
Yes, that's what the client thinks. Do you want this job?
Well, I'm more interested in the secretary, to be honest.
I beg your pardon?
I'm more interested in the secretary. We
You
need a
never stop-
secretary. We need a
Oh,
secretary.
I see.
Oh, for
I
God's
see.
sake.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I thought you were going down, the
No.
same route that you normally often go down. Years of you going
We
down.
need
that
a
route.
secretary.
We do need a secretary, but then what will he do?
Well,
You're not really.
He's getting there. Just the
You're
anxiety.
not really pulling your weight, darling, are you?
And it's just the anxiety, isn't it? It's just
He just needs to pull his weight.
he's anxious. He's just anxious. Cup of coffee. Drink your coffee.
You're making him look more anxious, to be honest, Bob. Touching him like that.
I'm sorry. I was just trying to help.
No, I know, it doesn't help really at all. He's not very good with physical contact, are you? Of any kind, really.
Yeah.
No. It's been like that for quite a long time.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Anyway, moving on. Do you want the Norwegian secretary? Do you want the case or do you want her as the secretary?
Well, I
See,
think
I don't think you can have both.
I think we should go and meet her. And we
Okay.
have, we have the
Meeting
ace
her.
card to persuade her to come and work for us.
I tell you what, if she came and worked for us, we could then watch her very closely and see whether
We
she
could,
is having a relationship
And if she is,
with our clients, what a great way to earn some money. The client pays us to find out if they're having an affair, and we get the secretary to work for us.
not if we
Same
not
money.
if we rat on her.
No, okay. Well, depends who pays more, doesn't it, really? If she's a very good secretary, I think we find her innocent. If she's a terrible bloody secretary, we suggest
I
that she
think
might
that's
be
fine.
having an affair with.
I think that's very good.
Yes.
Do you see that?
What are you going to do, darling?
Lateral thinking.
What are you going to do?
Well, there doesn't seem much place for me, does it?
Well, I'll
really?
tell you what, the tone is a bit funny on the photocopier. You don't have little fiddle with that.
You did very well distracting the woman with the poodle.
Perhaps you could be the
And
distraction then.
Exactly, because he said, "Hey, it's nice to see you again today." They have a
A little bit of a
relationship.
relationship already.
He was a little bit tactile.
Were you?
He was a bit tactile with her.
No, I wasn't.
Well,
He just there was contact.
There doesn't seem to be any plan to solve this case at the moment, does there?
we've got a
We've got a
perfectly
plan.
watertight plan. We've just described it. Where are the flaws in our plan?
How do you get the dog back?
Carry it in a crate?
And what if it's not the dog?
What about if I took a pram?
We-
What about if I took a pram, a buggy? I was a grandma pushing a baby in a park, and I sort of swaddled the poodle and put it in the buggy
That's
and
it.
pushed it away like that.
We'll do
Plan.
it. Morning.
You see, he did see the wiggling, didn't
I
he?
s-
He saw the
Charity
weak link,
shop.
but we
Charity
solved
shop.
it.
Go and get a Go and get. There's a job. Go to the charity shop and buy a pram.
Buggy, pram.
Pram.
It's got to be big enough for poodle.
Pram.
Pram, pram,
Pram.
pram.
See you tomorrow. Inside. Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. Don't look at me. We're working as a team.
Distraction, plan B. Go.
Hi. Hello. Me again. Still see you've got the dog.
Schmackos.
Thanks very much. Thank you, Paul. Well done. Thanks, everybody.
Keep me mad. Schmacko plan.
That's good.
What was that? How long?
We're all right.
48. That's how the lights on.
48 minutes.
Yeah. That's the lights on, John.
Yeah.
I got 44 on that.
That was all because you
Well, thanks everybody. Get a
Well done.
drink.